The second thing is working with variables and data types. So what these are basically anything that stores a value, okay? And there are a bunch of values, and okay, I don't know what it's doing here. Maybe it's just because, okay, I need more white space there. Tab. So a variable is basically something that stores something, it stores a value. So in math, you would say, x equals 14 or something, right? And then y equals 16, and it's giving me a bunch of errors. And you'll see why it's giving me a bunch of errors, okay? But basically, isn't that how you were taught in algebra? And you plug this in and that in, and you have variables here and there, you add them up, do whatever you want, right? So that's what we're gonna do. But the thing is, these variables don't just store numbers, they can store sentences. Okay, I could do hello Alex again, or I can just do Alex, okay? And it'll store it if we do it the proper way, but we're not doing it the proper way right now. So I'm going to show you what is going on here. So if we go to the error list, it says the name X does not exist in the current context. All that is saying is the computer doesn't know what the heck X is. You know what X is because you define it, but you haven't defined it for the computer, okay? So you have to introduce this variable to the program. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in var, and this is blue because it's called a keyword, a word that introduces to the program whatever this is, all right? So the variable, var is short for variable, the variable x, we're going to set that value to Alex. Now, the word Alex does not exist in the current context because if you just put it like that, it doesn't know what the heck you're talking about either. What this thing works because it's in quotation marks, and this is what you want to display in the console. It's called a string. If you can see right there, I can't move my cursor over there because it's just going to disappear, but it'll say class system.string, and all that's saying, a string is any kinds of characters, sentences, phrases, words, any symbols, anything. It can do anything, okay? So let me show you that actually. I didn't do that, so if I go ahead and hold down shift and just scrape across the top number systems, I guess, the number keys, you should get this sort of thing, okay? And then you could do without the shift key and go and then type in some random stuff, okay? And we're just going to go ahead and type in 2 slashes, and that's for comments. That's for human use, okay? So if I were to say // here I show you how strings can be characters, numbers, or symbols, okay? And this comment makes it easier for other programmers to understand what the heck you're doing here. So this is just for human use. The program is not going to interpret this, okay? So go ahead, and I just made that a comment, and we can delete this however we want, whenever we want. So then it'll go back to its interpreter mode. So I'm going to save this, start it. It's going to build and should be pretty fast. Here you go. And it's displaying all these kind of stuff. And you can type in anything here too. I don't know what I'm typing. I'm just having fun. Okay, and even ivni, whatever that means. Okay, I'm just going to press enter. And then I'm just going to press O. And then there you go. Read key. Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do here is do the same thing here. We put quotation marks in between, saying that this is just something that I want to display and not an actual actual something that the computer should know that is undefined. Okay, and now I'll explain what that means. Okay, so you see here again, semicolon expected. Perfect. Put in semicolon and you're done. Okay. Now adding x and y and multiplying and dividing, all that should be easy. So what I'm going to instead do here is I'm going to put two variables together that are sentences. Okay. So I'm going to create another var called y. I'm going to do Alex, hello. Hello. All right. Semicolon. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we can write a line, and you see how we put quotation marks here? Now that x and y are defined, we can put them in here without the quotation marks, okay? Because basically x just means Alex, and y just means hello in quotation marks. And you don't have to do that again, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do x, and I'm going to do plus y, okay? This isn't exactly a mathematical operation because you can't add a to h. Well, I guess you could, but that's in like alphabetical numbers. A would be 1, and you know, all that kind of nonsense that it's not commonly used. So this x plus y, it'll join these strings together. It'll join these phrases together, words, whatever they are, it'll join them together. Okay, and with that thing, I am going to put this down here, press enter for formatting, and I'm gonna set this to the command or comments, and then so this should be fine. We define x, define y, write line by joining them to, and then read key. Okay, so go ahead and start that, and you'll see that it says Alex hello. It's like one word, Alex hello, Alex hello, and you know, that kind of thing. So it's one word, you can't really tell what's going on, and you can always fix that by adding a space here. You can fix that by adding a space here, or you can do that by adding a space here, which I would not prefer to do because that's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more keys to press. I would rather click and space. There you go. So that's one way to do it. So if we start again, and there it is. Alex, hello. It's not Alex, hello. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I'm going to delete this and show you the different methods or the different mathematical operations that we could do. And sometimes they're not like x times, you know how in math classes they tell you to do like a dot, but that's not how you do it here. Okay, so I'm gonna switch this back to 14. Now 14 isn't really a string, because if you're doing a string adding a string, that again we see them joining but not exactly adding onto each other. So numbers can be without quotation marks, or they can be formatted as string, which cannot be added together. So if they're in let's just do, you know what, let's just do simple 1 and 2. Perfecto. I don't even know if that's a word. Anybody tell me if that's an actual word? Okay, x plus y. This should be pretty easy. 3. Here you go. You have 3. Okay. I'm probably gonna get that font size a little bigger. Console.WriteLine. Okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna copy this by pressing Control C, Enter, Control V, and then copying these together. Control C, and then Control V. Okay. So now we have 4, and those are for 4 operations: plus, minus, multiply, which is an asterisk. If you try to find it on your keyboard, it should be Shift plus the number key on the 8 above U and I, above U and the I keys, or you could do the numpad if you have one, and it's right next to the slash and the minus sign. Okay, so that's how you do x times y, and then that's x divided by y. Okay, go ahead and save that. And so let's get that started. It should be okay, perfect. Now if we go over here, we can kind of scroll down here, and we see, actually let me make that bigger. Woo. Oh, okay. That's a huge console size. So what we have here is, oh, that's perfect. X plus y. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 1 times 2 is 2. And what the heck is going on here, right? Now, that's like the basic, that's a pretty basic thing to do. 1 divided by 2 is obviously not 0, it's 1/2. But in terms of integers, and I'm going to introduce you to that, those different types of variables. So these are very generic variables, and by telling the program that y is a variable is so generic that the program is just going to interpret what type of a variable or type of a data type it is by taking whatever this type is and then setting that type to the variable. Okay, that sounds kind of weird, but you have to assign a number, or like anything, you have to assign a variable to some type of data if you just have the generic var in front of it. Let me show you. Var y. Okay, click off of it. Y. What the heck is going on? Implicitly typed variables must be initialized. You saw that? Implicitly typed variables must be initialized. That means the program doesn't know what y is. Is it an integer? Is it a decimal? Is it a string variable? Is it a boolean or boolean, or however people say it? So I'm going to introduce you to those. So we're going to add more. I'm actually going to start off with the integer. Now an integer, if you've learned in class, an integer is just whole numbers, and they don't contain decimals or that kind of stuff, okay? And then I'm going to do, I believe it's decimal, y. And you see here that, oh, the error just disappeared. It's no longer under this y, but this, you can't really do anything about it because y is unassigned and it has no value and it's null. There's nothing in it. Decimal y equals, let's say 1 point, no, we had 2, right? Okay, so let's see how that works out. Let's press start. There it is, brother. So 0.5, perfect. And we had all these other numbers, right? So these are whole numbers, that's fine, but 1 divided by 2 is definitely 0.5, okay? And what we did here is the difference is between var and decimal, and var just interprets, oh, I don't see any decimals, right? Since I don't see any decimals here, I'm just going to interpret it as an integer, like this one. However, if you specify that 2 to be decimal, to be a decimal, then y will be a decimal, and it'll put decimals after that. And so 1 divided by 2 in integer form, it's just going to round down or round up, depending. Okay, so we can kind of test that out if we just did int both integers. And it's always a good thing to identify them without using the var keyword, but other keywords like integers to specify just what they are, so programmers can more easily see these types of variables. Okay, so same thing, 1 divided by 3 should be 0.6666, okay, that's a bad number, 0.6666, nevertheless, I'm just going to say it, alright? 1 divided by, or no, what am I saying? It was 2, okay, 0.66 should be 2 divided by 3, okay? Okay, there it is. So 2 divided by 3 is 2/3 or 0.66. I'm just going over there. Okay, And 0.66 is greater than 0.5, which should be round up, but it's rounded down. We'll cover that later, how to round up and round down, and that's all the math stuff. But right now, just remember that integers rounds down always, okay? So again, I'm going to do decimal. There are other types of stuff that we can do. So Boolean. Boolean is basically it's a class. It's not really a data type, but it's very similar to a data type. It just evaluates something to be true or false. Okay, so, but I'm gonna blend. I'm probably gonna blend the if-else statement in here as well as the data types, because we need to, if we want to evaluate something, if we want to know if something is true or false, we need to know if and then else, or if, just the if statement. It's a condition, it's a decision that the program makes based on what you put in. So Boolean, let's say Boolean xy okay, equals I don't know, just don't set it to anything. See, that's a good thing. If you're indecisive on what to set it, just put a Boolean, put a specific thing, right, and then set its name, right? So this Boolean variable name is called xy. So I'm gonna do an if statement here, and then that'll blend us perfectly into the next tutorial. If, okay, I'm gonna put parentheses here because that's how it works. It's syntax. That's how the program identifies it to be a if statement. If x plus y equals, so two equal signs, and I'll go over that later on in the next tutorial, equals, so what we have here, 2 plus 3 is 5, okay, and that will evaluate the true. So if this part equals 5, then I'm going to have a curly bracket here because it's a statement like this. Then it'll execute whatever is in these brackets. Remember? It all goes back, man. All goes back. So if that's true, xy equals true. Okay, semicolon. Perfect. Okay, and these curly brackets don't have semicolons in the, or after them. It's just these lines of commands, right? So I'm gonna add here plus xy. Or yeah, I'm gonna have to. Let's not do that complicated yet. So write line is writing a line, and then it's like pressing enter after it. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that, and then the next thing, and then right after x plus y, I'm gonna do write line, because after this, that's gonna jump to the next line, xy. Okay, remember how we put strings and string together? Oh wait, I can't do that, huh? Ha! Just kidding. Oh, okay, so, okay, hold on. No, that's not what I meant. Okay, so I'm gonna set xy to true. Okay, and see now right here, that'll work. But it's a good thing to know the difference between right and right line, and I'll do that right now. And I'll show you. This should be true. Yeah, it's perfect. 5 true. One word again. So that's what it is. So write is, it just writes a 5, but then write line is telling the program to write whatever is in here, which is true in this case, and then press enter. It's like it equates to pressing enter, right? So these are write lines, and these are all to the next line, but 5 and true are not in different lines. Okay, perfect. So now you know if statement. That's really about it. There's int. Oh, you can do string, to be honest. String. That's basically what these are. These are strings of text. String yx equals. Let's do something else. Joke. And So I'm going to right line, and I'm going to do another right line. I'm going to do yx. Okay, so this, you see how this name is right here, and it basically tells the program to search for if this is defined or not, and if it is defined, then take the value of it and put it in here, put it in wherever it should be, and that is it, man. That is it. Oh, one thing I totally forgot, I'm sorry, is that C# is case sensitive. So case sensitive, it just means that you need to note the difference between a capitalized one and a lowercase one. So if I just go ahead and right line, it's gonna give me an error for console does not contain definition for right line. It's a right line, it's not right line. Okay, just emphasizing the fact that you need to capitalize certain things for the code to work. And that's sometimes a pain, but to be honest, look at this. Okay, if I just typed in console, it automatically has the option for us where the C is capitalized. So you don't even have to press enter. You just type in whatever you would like to do next. I don't even need to finish the word. I can just type in the dot right here, and it'll finish that for me. See that? Now if I did right line, I don't even need to finish that. I can just put in this parentheses right here. Bam! And that finished the whole line for us. Okay. However, if you want to do right, okay, you're probably gonna have to manually and point at it, and then double click on it. Parentheses, and look, it even puts the second parentheses for us. Not the semicolon though, but it does this. Okay, you can do whatever. Ding! Perfect so far. I just typed in something. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Okay, all right. So here, oh yeah, we need to fix this, or we need to test it, right? So start. We should have Joker at the end. Perfect. Perfecto. Okay. So, so far 5 true. -1. Right. 6.6 is Joker. Read key. End. All right. So that's the second part of the tutorial. Yeah, I forgot to add that to the first one. I actually just kept going. So this is the second tutorial is on variables. The next one, as I said, we're going to go into conditions and decisions. Okay. So thank you for watching this one, and see you next time on the next tutorial.